Okay.
And this meeting is going to be up until 12 o'clock, correct?
Okay, we're good. I'm gonna make, who's the host now?
Okay.
Who wants to be the host?
I think it's Chris.
Chris?
Yes.
Okay.
And Chris got to make you the co-host. Can you hear us, Chris?
Yes, can you make me the host?
Yes, okay, and just make me a co-host, please.
Make Betsy
And we're
the co-host.
good.
Yeah, Chris Miller is now host.
Make Betsy the co-host. Looks good on YouTube.
And Chris, don't forget to make Betsy your co-host.
I'm trying to figure out right now, because I can't see anything when my screen is in full screen.
Chris talking, but her mic is muted.
I can't see the video on YouTube.
It's good. I'm looking at it right now.
You might have to go out and then come back in, Donna.
Okay.
And the captions are coming across on YouTube, so we are all good.
I must not be accessing it correctly. Oh, here it is.
It's under video. Well, it should, when you go to the homepage, it should say live, you know, like a black screen, and then it says live.
Yeah, I see it now. It's about 10 seconds behind.
Oh, Scott's
Okay,
on.
and, Chris, can you make me co-host before you forget? Sorry to keep bugging you.
Oh, there's Betsy.
Go to Betsy.
There you go.
That's me. Somebody's got something in the background going on. Oh. 15 seconds behind on YouTube.
Yeah, and also, Chris, you would be kind of, your voice is kind of low, so you may want to turn your volume up on your.
Okay. I'm actually planning on not talking.
Okay, good.
I thought you
Good.
good.
I'll be doing it.
So go ahead on and mute your, if you're not muted right now, Chris.
Will we see the captions up there?
You can ask it to show this. Right here. Oh, I hate when y'all use that. Go in there, click on that. Show subtitles.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Seify's waiting to enter.
Good morning, gang. How are you? Scott.
Oh, hey, Scott.
How you this morning, Wanda?
Good.
Very good. Awesome. Oh, good. You can't really see how bad
Yes.
you have it shaved.
He's in the waiting room. There he is. We're still working on this, Scott.
I can't tell you how many Zoom calls I do a day. It's mind-numbing.
We should have had you come
Here we
here.
go. Kathy Hayfield coming in, and
Oh, there's
Yeah.
Dr. Seify and Kathy Hayfield.
there we go. Okay.
Donna, are you crying already? Has the meeting been that tough? I understand. You're on mute, Donna. I'm choked up too, though.
Yes.
We all.
It's very emotional for me.
No, I know it is. The opening of any meeting is tough.
I know, right?
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Wanda, you're on mute, but Wanda, are you gonna have the agenda up, or do I?
Do you,
Chris, you'll have the agenda up, right? Yes,
Yeah.
the agenda will be
All
up
right,
on the
I can
screen.
look intelligent. Good. All right.
You know, I changed it, so I'm gonna do the overview first. Remember?
I'm following your lead. Don't worry.
All right, very good, very good.
I'm a puppet on a string.
You know, she's got control of the mute button, so you don't really have much of a choice.
You guys get out of hand, that's it.
Mute all.
Silent.
Start turning off video, kicking people out of the meeting.
The great and powerful Oz.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Okay.
I like your guitar, Scott, man. Is it just one or is that a whole bunch of stuff back there? You're muted. Why don't you start strumming for us, man? Play us something. You're on mute, but I like it.
I have a habit of muting everything all the time, so I don't know whether it was you or me, but
Right.
no, it's a handful of different things back there.
Man, why don't you play us a little something, dude, while we're just sitting here? Come on.
We're already live streaming, everyone.
Oh, you can fill the space. Fill the space.
I think I just got the golden hook.
Isn't there a CNI theme song we can start playing?
Oh, I can write one if you want me to.
Oh, here you go. It's a big cup of coffee. What do you got on top of that? Is that froth?
Froth.
Or is that,
It's
wow.
just
Nice.
like a 4-shot mocha.
Nice.
Hey.
It's going to be a long meeting. It's going to be done in 10 minutes with that rate.
I'm in the dark here.
Hey, I'm not seeing okay, I wasn't seeing the captions. Everybody, can anybody else see the subtitles when they turn it on, or?
No,
No,
I don't.
only the screen.
Yes, yeah, this is your captioner. I just wasn't
Yeah, when you
writing
put your closed
everybody's
caption.
ad libs since you were live. I'm here and I see it. We're good.
I
Everything's
just want to
set
make
here.
sure they're coming across on YouTube.
Cool.
Yes, they
Oh,
are.
there's the captioner. Now I see it.
Okay.
The captioner.
Two people are in the waiting room.
So how are you seeing that? How are you guys seeing the captions? I'm
Well,
sorry.
I just see the word captioner. I don't see the captions. So
You will when it starts. I just
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah, we-
writing all the ad lib because it would go out live.
Oh,
It's this
right.
other board. Okay.
Yeah. I can write it if you'd like.
okay.
we're good.
Okay, thank you.
A brave new world.
Hi, this is Heather. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, Heather, sounds good.
Okay, great. And I apologize. Our computers here at VDH do not have cameras. We're in the process of ordering new ones. So I will be sans video today.
Okay, cool.
You always click the very first one. It says screen. Because that allows you to pick whatever you want. Because if you pick a particular one, it's going to show stuff in the background. Gotcha.
What is Lauren saying? They have to turn it on as user. See if she needs to turn it on. What does that mean?
It's on a need to know basis.
I don't know. I have no idea. Let me get in my office.
Okay.
You said Lauren?
Yeah, she's monitoring
All right,
YouTube.
is she on this call right now? Oh.
No.
I don't know.
Board saved a few dollars by not having to buy donuts and stuff, I guess, right?
subtitles and captions, see if he needs to turn. Oh, I guess he was asking how to get subtitles.
Healthier too.
So when you do the kind of housekeeping thing,
Mhm.
you just say to everyone, if you're on Zoom or, and you want to see the captions, you have to turn it on.
What if they ask me?
And you do it like the one you sent.
She didn't give me directions.
Wanda, are you guys going to record this?
Yes, please.
I'll do that.
You'll do that? Okay.
Yeah.
Chris will do that.
Well, I said that.
Okay, it's 9 o'clock, everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and mute my microphone and also turn my camera off, but I will still be on the call.
Okay, I'm gonna start in just a sec. Do you have an extra pen, Chris?
When you're ready, Wanda, because I'm going to show everybody's faces.
Okay. I'm just writing down one quick thing. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. We're going to begin the meeting for the CNI Advisory Board. I just have a few things to go over before we begin, and I'll turn it over to Dr. Sifu after that. Remember that this is being live streamed on YouTube for the public and will be saved on the DARS YouTube website. Please keep yourself muted when you're not talking to minimize background noise. When you want to say something, unmute your audio. Please do not use the chat to offer input. It cannot be seen by the audience watching on YouTube. Do use the chat if you're having technical difficulties or if you're trying to talk but not being recognized. Chris Miller will be monitoring the chat and responding with help. You can also text her at 540-407-0679. At the beginning of the meeting, there will be a roll call to document everyone from Advisory Board who is in the meeting. The chair, Dr. David Sifu, will call your name and ask you to respond that you are present. This also will be a good way to test turning your audio on and off. Also, voting will take place by roll call vote only. During the meeting, please say your name each time you talk so the audience and the captioner will know who is speaking. Any questions before we begin? If not, I turn the meeting over to the chair, David Sifu.
Thank you, Wanda. And as soon as the agenda comes up, I'll be able to sound really intelligent, but it's okay. Chris is working on it. Hi, everybody. This is Dave Sifu, and I'm the chair of the committee. I'm a physician at the VCU Health System and the Hunter Holmes McGuire VA Medical Center, and a rehab physician. And it's a pleasure to have you all. I can do the roll call by looking at everybody's picture and just kind of say if you're here, but I don't have the people that aren't here. So I'll get started while Chris is figuring out. There she goes. She's sharing her screen. Bless you. Okay. Lots of good stuff here. All right. I can get started. Is Scott Dickens here? While he's drinking. Scott Dickens raised his mug and said yes, that he is here. Is Kathy Hayfield here?
Cheers.
Kathy raised her mug, hi, and said yes. Let's see. I don't know if is David Reed here?
David Reed's here, but not there.
Well put. Is Chris Miller here?
Need someone.
She's here.
Yeah, I know she is, but I think we're supposed to be saying it. So
Yes.
there are some other folks who are on who I don't know if they're officially part of the committee. So I guess we'll just say their names, Wanda, or should I? Is there an actual list of folks that we should be reading off of?
Yes.
Yes, they should be identified. I sent
Okay.
you the list. Hold on just a second.
So take your time.
I'm gonna have
I want
to go up.
to be as official sounding as possible because this is being recorded for posterity. I will note that that Scott has a lovely sunflower field background for those that can't see. He's taken it up a notch. I'm not sure what Dave Reed's background is. It's some sort of an athletic shirt. Well, while we're moving along, I'll ask if Marcy Dubois is here. And
I am
she
here.
is, yes. Charlotte Arbogast is here. She's waving.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, Donna Cantrell is here. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. I know there's some folks that aren't here. Heather Board is here.
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Carolyn, without a last name, but she'll cite what her
Carolyn
last
Turner.
Carolyn
Carolyn,
Turner.
I'm here.
Thank you,
I'm here.
Carolyn. Wanda, other folks who I know are not here. If you want to just read off the names, because it's possible they're somehow on the phone. There's a person that's called Zoom One. That's I don't know who
That's
that
the
is.
captioner. That's the
Oh,
captioner.
no, there's a captioner one too. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Rennie
Yeah.
Delaney.
Rennie Delaney. I don't see him on the call. Rennie, are you on? No. Okay. And who else?
Patrick Sanders.
Right. Yeah, I don't see Patrick on either. So Patrick
He
and
is
Rennie
out.
are not.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's our oh, we have Monty Python now for Scott's background. Oh, very nice.
Gotta keep it fresh.
Yeah. All right. So we can put. Oh, that's very nice. So if we can put back the agenda, we'll go through that. Thank you, Chris. Okay. We've done welcome and roll call. Our first order of business is approval of the minutes for 2020. Excuse me, for 9/20/2019. Those were sent out with the meeting agenda and multiple times. Do I have a motion from Scott for approval?
Moved.
And do I have a second from David Reed? Yes. Is there any discussion, any edits, any concern with those? Seeing, hearing none, I will call the question. All up, because we're doing this via Zoom, all opposed, raise a mug or say something.
You have to do roll call.
Of course, I'm going to go through everybody again for each of these. Great
Just
opportunity.
voting members, just voting members.
Okay,
Just member.
all right, so Chris Miller, I think you're a voting member. No,
No.
she's not. David Reed, I know you're a voting member. David, are you in favor? Yes, he gives a thumb up. Okay, I know that Scott is a voting member. Scott gives something up. Yes, a thumb up. Is anybody else a voting member other than myself?
Heather Board, and
Oh,
yes.
Heather, okay. Heather?
Yes.
All right, thank you, Heather. Anybody else a voting member that I can?
Commissioner.
Oh, she is. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I am a voting member as well. I say yes. Is that all? I believe that is a quorum. That's more than 60%.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. We will now, so that is approved. We'll now go to the adoption of today's meeting agenda, which is obviously in front of us on the screen. I hear a motion from Scott, don't I?
I
Yes.
motion that we adopt the meeting
Thank
agenda.
you. And David, do I hear a second?
You do hear a second. You heard
Are
it
there
before
any?
said.
Thank you, David. Are there any additions or adjustments or edits to it? Hearing none, we'll call the question and we'll go through this again. All right, let's see. Scott, yay or nay? Yay. Let's see. Thank you. Kathy, yay or nay?
Yay.
Yay. David, yay or nay?
Hey,
Heather, yay or nay? I think it was Heather, wasn't she the?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yay.
And I'm yay. So we have a unanimous approval for the agenda. Moving forward, Wanda, stop me if I get out of control. Moving forward, we will now open it up, it looks like, for public comment.
There were no public comments.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Hearing none, we'll now have Wanda's report on the finances and the treasury. Wanda, to you.
All right. Total revenue for 2019-2020 was $763,281. Interest received, $63,441. Expenditures,
Wait, slow down. So 763,000 and revenue, interest was how much?
$63,441.
Okay.
Expenditures were $1,165,661, which included grants and administrative, leaving a balance year-to-date 2019-2020 minus $338,939. Cash balance available on 7/1/2019 was $3,175,492. Revenue minus expenditures leaves a current cash balance of $2,836,554 as of 7/1/2020. Note, revenue during the COVID-19 pandemic dropped significantly. We averaged 64,411 from July through April 2020. We averaged 26,562 for May and June 2020. Revenue for July 2020 went up to 49,437 and up again to 52,225 for August 2020, which is good news. It's trending upward. Detailed information on the revenue and expenditures for 2017 through 2020 can be found in the CNI Triennial Report that we will review shortly and is available on the CNI website, vacni.org. Any questions or comments?
Could just leave that on the screen just for a second.
Okay.
So we had been bringing in about 60,000 a month
Yes.
last year. That's just fast math. So we're expecting a drop because of these lower months.
I would imagine probably due to COVID, but it's trending up. So hopefully we'll get back to some semblance of normalcy, in a few months.
Right.
Hi, this is Chris. The other thing I think that's important to note is that we don't anticipate any grants in the coming fiscal year, so that will help to maintain the fund.
I'm not worried so much about this is Kathy Hayfield speaking, about maintaining the balance, because I'd like to see us push some grants out there. But anyway, that's another conversation.
Well, I have to say, as the chair, I would agree. I said, this is a good thing that the dollars went down. That means there's less inappropriate driving issues, and that's because less people are driving in COVID. Sadly, it's going to go up, which is good for our bottom line, but not necessarily good for society, but it's going to happen. So I do think one of our charges is to continue to do this research and service projects. So I think we should keep that discussion open. I don't see why we wouldn't be putting forth resources on some level to support the mission. So that's my 3 cents. Well, it's only 1 cent now because it went down in value.
All right. I just have one quick announcement to make. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge the Governor of Virginia's reappointment of Dr. David Seafoe and Attorney Rennie Delaney to the CNI Advisory Board. Thank you both so much for your continued support for CNI, and we look forward to the next 4 years.
Thank you, Wanda, and on Rennie's behalf, I thank you as well. It's a great ride, and we're privileged to be part of this team.
Wonderful.
Is that do we need to do anything in terms of validating your report, accepting it, or is it just a first statement?
Just for statement.
Okay. All right,
We're
and
good.
obviously it'll appear in the next meetings minutes as well. All right, if we could
Yes.
get back, yeah, okay. If we could, if Chris, if you could pop back the agenda, you can look intelligent again. Thank you. Or I can read Wanda. I could read Wanda's palm because she's large on my screen right now. Oh, that's she opens it up to the screen.
Oh, goodness. All right. So the next thing is the CNI periodic review, Charlotte
Okay.
Arbogast.
All right. Thank you. Charlotte, to you.
Good morning. My name is Charlotte Arbogast, and I'm a policy analyst with the department. In my role, I also serve as the department's regulatory coordinator. Today, I wanted to share with you some regulatory updates. The enabling statutory authority for the CNI Trust Fund program is found in Article 12 of Chapter 14 of Title 51.5 of the Code of Virginia. That's a fancy way of saying Code Sections 51.5-178 through 181. Under that statutory authority, DARS has promulgated regulations for the operation of the program. These regulations found in the Virginia Administrative Code outline additional details. The CNI Trust Fund Program chapter is located at 22 VAC 30-50. As is tradition, under Governor Northam's Executive Order 14, issued in 2018, agencies have been instructed to fulfill various regulatory requirements and deadlines. Under EO 14, as well as the Virginia Administrative Process Act, agencies are required to conduct a periodic review of regulatory chapters every 4 years to determine whether the regulations should be continued without change or be amended or repealed, are consistent with the stated objectives of the applicable law, and minimize the impact on small businesses. The periodic review shall include the continued need for the rule, the nature and complaints or comments received concerning the regulation from the public, the complexity of the regulation, the extent to which the regulation overlaps, duplicates, or conflicts with federal or state law or regulation, and the length of time since the regulation has been evaluated, or the degree to which technology, economic conditions, or other factors have changed in the area affected by the regulation. For the periodic review process, agencies must publish a notice of the periodic review in the Virginia Register and post the notice on the Town Hall website. The notice will be posted for 21 days of public comment. No later than 120 days after the close of the public comment period, agencies must publish a report of the findings of the regulatory review. The findings include the following options: retain as is, amend, or repeal. Once an agency reaches a finding, the periodic review and finding decision are also reviewed by the Office of the Attorney General and the Governor's Office to determine if the regulations are 1, necessary for the protection of public health, safety, and welfare, and 2, clearly written and easily understandable. I share this with you because DARS has initiated a periodic review of the CNI Trust Fund Program regulations. During the upcoming 21-day public comment period, individual board members of the CNI Trust Fund Advisory Board may make public comments, or if there was a proper vote by the CNI Trust Fund Advisory Board, the board could also make a public comment. This is optional, it is not required. The public comment period will run from October 12th through November 2nd, 2020. Looking ahead, I anticipate that there is strong likelihood that the periodic review finding will be to amend the chapter. DARS policy and CNI Trust Fund program staff have been reviewing the current regulatory chapter and have identified some areas that could benefit from updates. These potential changes would not significantly alter the operation of the CNI Trust Fund program, if at all, and as of now would be considered more housekeeping in nature. If DARS does reach the point of proceeding with regulatory changes, DARS will seek recommendations from the advisory board prior to promulgating or revising any such regulations. This is required under 51.5-181 of the Code of Virginia. I anticipate that this will likely be an agenda item at your next advisory board meeting once the agency has more clarity on what potential changes are going to be pursued. Does anyone have any questions at this time? And also just let you, so you're aware, I will keep Wanda and Chris informed about the periodic review as it progresses. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlotte.
From my standpoint, I think that's well thought out, well explained, and much appreciated. We look forward to the next step and making decisions based on what we see. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Anybody else comment? Okay. Otherwise, I believe I memorized the next one, which is other business, but let's see if I got it right in terms of what Chris puts back up there.
There it is.
Scott, is there a fly in your house? Is that what you were just looking around at? Thought you were going to get it with your tongue.
I heard Wanda say there it is, but nothing is there it is on my screen except all you guys. Not that I mind seeing you guys, but go ahead, hold it up. That's technology at its best.
I think we're up to other business while we're trying to put on the agenda, and I will just, I don't recall if there's any specific things. I don't think there were, but
no cost extension.
Oh, okay, yeah. So whatever will show up. So there's a no cost extension, I assume, for those research projects that were already underway through CNI Trust Fund and that were delayed either because of COVID-related research challenges or other reasons. And Wanda has brought several of those to my attention. We've had discussions on those, and I don't know if there's more that needs to be done on those, Wanda, and if there needs to be a vote. Go ahead.
We need a vote on Dr. Dixon, who's asking for 9 additional months because the no cost extension that we gave them actually ends this month on the 30th. So she wants to continue to work to complete her project until June 30th, 2021. And Dr. Gitchell also has requested for 6 months.
Right now, I know Dr. Gitchell's work involves human participants, and so and I know he's doing it at the VA, and so I know that project, and so that's a challenge, and so I think to me that seems to make sense because clearly it's been challenging. Even as of today, there's no in-person research assessments that can be done at most VAs, including the one in Richmond, and their assessment can't be done virtually because it involves transcranial magnetic stimulation. That makes sense to me. So I would feel comfortable with that. Why don't we take them one at a time? So Wanda, are there any other elements to Dr. Gitchell's request in terms of change in personnel, et cetera, or is it just they couldn't recruit?
We're trying to get it up on the screen now, but this is from Dr. Gitchell. He says, my previous submission remains true. In-person research is still on indefinite hold at the VA and with no firm restart date in sight as of yet. Our hope is to reopen once safer to do so. Therefore, I still request an additional 3-month extension, not 6, but 3 for recruitment to finalize the study.
Yeah, and again, from my recall, they were close to actually completing the study, probably in the last quarter in terms of participation. And my intel is that they're going to restart in-person research probably in October because they just started at the Portland VA this week. So I think that I feel comfortable with. I would even push and say 6 months because we don't know what's going to happen with COVID. So if we're allowed to, let's give them the original 6 or 9 months. I feel comfortable they're going to finish that study. And if we're allowed to do that, I would say let's not be bold. Let's go for I think he originally asked for 9 months. Let's go for 9 months. because I'd like to see that study finished. Are there further discussion from people on the call or on the Zoom?
I would agree with that, Dave, because given this COVID situation, there's no point in giving them 3 months and then they ask for another 3 months. Let's just, if we can do it, give them what they requested originally, give them the 9 months, because if they're that close to it, once things clear up for them to be able to get their subjects in, we've got to study.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yep. Okay. All right. So why don't we then take a motion on that one and then we'll move to the next one rather than conflate these. So I'll ask for a motion on approval of the original request, whether it was for 6 or 9 months, for Dr. Gitchell for a no cost extension. I silently hear Scott saying.
I will make that motion. This is Heather.
Thank you, Heather. And as we have a second, thank you. Is there any further discussion? If not, I'll call the question. And of course, we'll go through everybody again. We'll start with Scott. Scott gives us a positive thumbs up. Kathy?
Yes.
Big smile, thumbs up. David?
Yep.
Thank you. I think Heather?
Yes.
Okay, I think that's our voting members, and me, I approve as well. Okay, and now Wanda, so the other study, which I also know is the Dixon study, which is a basic science or animal study, and I believe originally the challenge was that there'd been a challenge or turnover in the lab personnel. I think they were using a surgery resident who was on a 1-year research term, and it wasn't completed because I think that resident may have been pulled because of COVID or something. But I don't know if you can put that up or let us know what were the other highlights. I think it probably is fine, but I want to make sure we've all heard the information. Do you have that there?
Kathy, for the sake of people who didn't receive the information, Wanda, would you say what the study is, where the study is, and the request?
All right, hold on just a sec. We're trying to get it up on the screen. In the meantime, she sent me some information. I will read to you guys. See if I can find a summary.
Who is she?
Oh, Dr. Dixon, I'm sorry.
I can give a background. So this is Dr. Dixon is a basic science neuroscientist in the Department of Surgery at VCU Health System with a secondary appointment in anatomy and neurobiology. Right, she's a researcher in rodent-based brain injury models. And to the best of my recollection, she's studying the effect of elevated intracranial pressure after moderate to severe traumatic brain injury in a rodent model under the supervision of the Department of Neurosurgery, Neuroanatomy, as well as surgery. And I believe that's 92% accurate based on my recall of the original grant. And again, her issue, I mean, she's a very competent, established neuroscientist. I know her, but we don't, but I think the issue was lab personnel, which, you know, if it's COVID related, I understand it, but otherwise I'm just a little concerned if she's going to complete this. Wanda, was it in the original materials that you sent out? Because I could probably just pull that up and put it onto the share screen if you can.
Yes, it was.
Was it? Okay, let me look for it.
It was in the first big packet I sent with everything attached.
Okay.
Do you want me to get yours?
I'll try to grab that. And because obviously the other folks who are on the call or on the video haven't seen that material. Let's see if I can find that note. All right.
It's just the group.
Actually, let's see, Wanda. All right, there she is.
Oh, you need to share it with Chris?
Well, I think we need to share it with everybody on the screen because there's some people, I think, on the YouTube piece who don't have it, is what Kathy said. I don't see it in that.
You gave a good explanation though, David.
Okay, that's fine. All right, yeah. And again, I did discuss this with Dr. Dixon 3-4 months ago when it came in. And at first I was very concerned that, like if she can't get the lab together, that's not a good sign. But she indicated that the surgery resident who was essentially on a year sabbatical to support this exact type of research through surgery and surgery was being pulled because of COVID and coverage issues. And, that's an unforeseen circumstance that I feel comfortable with. And I will tell you, VCU Medical Center is still having COVID issues, but there aren't people being pulled at the current time. So I think giving her, did she ask for a 9-month extension? I'm okay with that because I think the animals have been purchased. The lab is set up. I think the money would have gone to waste otherwise. So I feel comfortable, but that's my assessment. I'm happy to take others. And I don't know if I can answer a lot of questions on it, but it is important research as we determined initially, because this area of brain injury care, which is sort of the standard of care in terms of monitoring and adjusting intracranial in the head pressures after brain injury, has actually not been studied at an animal model level, which is surprising because we're doing it in humans already, and it seems to be successful. But it was it's a valid area of research, and she's an established researcher, so I would be fine with moving this forward. But I'll open it up to the board and any comments or questions.
I concur.
Thank you, Kathy. If there's no other, go ahead, Scott. Okay. If there aren't any further questions or comments, I'll ask for a move for approval for her requested no-cost extension.
So moved.
And I'll
Thank
second.
you, Scott. Thank you for the second, Kathy. What is that background? That's cute. Is that like Family Guy or something?
Simpsons, man. Come
Simpsons.
on.
I've never actually seen Simpsons in my life, sadly. Which is I've never seen The Simpsons, which is a handicap if you do.
Next thing you're gonna say you never saw South Park. Come on.
I love South
all the television greats are there.
I know. My bad. Sorry. All right. So we've got on the table a motion for approval of the of Dr. Dixon's request. Are there any further questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll call the question and go through. Scott, yay or nay? Or Apu? That's one of the guys on The Simpsons. I know that. All right. Kathy, yay or nay? Yes. David, yay or nay?
All the Simpsons you came up with Apu?
Well, no, if you do crossword puzzles, he's always the answer to The Simpsons. That's the only reason I know. I don't know anything about them. Heather, yay or nay?
Yay.
Thank you. I think I covered everybody. If I didn't, Kathy, I might not have gotten you the second time around. I apologize.
Yes.
There's a unanimous approval. Okay. So we've approved those two. Thank you, Wanda. What else is on the further business other than going through all the Simpsons? What?
Next would be a request to expand population recruited for Project Achieve. Did you read that information?
If I did, it's about the same place as Apu in my memory. So I will, I'll see if anybody, go ahead.
This is for CNI contract 262-80330, Dr. Grow, Christine Grow. Project Achieve, using cognitive support technology to assist women veterans with traumatic brain injury or spinal cord injury to achieve post-secondary education and careers. So she is asking, so the purpose of Project Achieve is to provide specialized services to assist women service members and veterans with TBI or SCI who are pursuing post-secondary education or training. Women veterans represent 14% of Virginia's veteran population, leading the nation with the highest percentage of women veterans. This number is expected to increase over the next 20 years. Despite their presence in Virginia, little is known about the post-secondary support needs unique to women service members and veterans, particularly those with disabilities such as TBI or SCI. To fill this gap, we propose to adapt a promising practice, Project Career, to serve women service members and veterans with TBI and SCI. Project Career is a demonstration project that uses cognitive support technology through iPads and individualized apps, peer mentoring program. As of August 10th, 2020, Project Achieve has 6 active participants. In the recent advisory council meeting, a member and referral source from McGuire VA-MC asked if we could accept participants who had sustained strokes and other types of non-traumatic brain injury to reach our goal of serving 20 students. We believe it would be very advantageous if we could extend our population to include women student veterans with non-traumatic TBI. We respectfully request approval to make this change. Christine Grow.
Yeah, Wanda, what's in my mind is that they had asked for an extension previously or an exception to include non-females at one point as well, and we had denied that. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right, got it. So fortunately, they recognize that really this is a very focal project. From an intellectual research standpoint, I don't personally have an issue with it. However, it isn't quite in the mission of the CNI Trust Fund in terms of what it's supposed to be supporting, which is traumatic. So I just want to make folks aware of that. Probably the information obtained will be useful, but the specificity to the population of either traumatic brain injury in this case, because it's not relevant to spinal cord injury, the stroke, but it is not going to meet that mission necessarily as accurately. So that's I have to, as a scientist, it's concerning, just because it's interesting information. It just isn't going to answer the question, nor does it meet the trust funds piece. So I got to be objective about that. Let's open it up to other folks. Scott or Dave, Kathy, Heather, your ideas.
It's an interesting point.
Well, I'm actually most concerned. I'm concerned about the science always, but I'm concerned about our mission and mission creep, which is I think everybody's important and people with disability of all types should be served, but I don't want to get us kind of off the track in terms of what these dollars are targeted for. And I would look to you and DARS to give us guidance, just because I'm kind of a scientist at heart, so I'm like, yeah, let's study it, but it's just a different space.
Is the objection that it doesn't meet the criteria? And if so, but we approved it originally. Is that true?
But yeah, we approved it for traumatic brain injury and traumatic spinal cord injury, and we approved it with a pretty, mediocre size population of 20. I mean, that's a nice number for little feasibility or pilot studies, but it's not asking a lot. And they've only been able to get 6. I work obviously in the VA setting. I work at VCU. I don't know how many females with stroke veterans are actually looking to go to college in our small space. I don't think that's a big area because there aren't a lot of young strokes or even middle-aged strokes that are going to be in there. So I don't know that that's going to get them to 20 anyway. Go ahead, Kathy. I'm sorry.
Did they provide any evidence or documentation that there's a population available, readily available? And how much more time were they looking for in the grant?
I think they're looking for the duration of their grant because I think they're a year in, whatever it is. I don't know that. But no, I didn't see any documentation. And I also work at the VCU Veteran and Service Member Center, and there aren't people with strokes there. There are a lot with traumatic brain injury because I see most of them. There's a small handful with spinal cord injury. So I don't know that stroke is a population is going to get them there. So that's a great point.
Women student veterans with non-traumatic brain injury, that would be concussions?
No, it would be stroke. Non-traumatic brain injury is going to be stroke, aneurysm, anoxia. Originally, they were asking for women veterans with traumatic brain injury, which was everything from a concussion to a severe injury, which is right in our purview, which makes sense, which is the majority of people there. If anything, if I were to counsel them, I'd say they should get a, quote, control group of folks that have PTSD and are in that group who've been combat exposed but didn't get a concussion or brain injury, because there's a significant number in that setting as well. Go ahead, Dave.
David Reed, is this a study? Or is this a community program that they're studying?
I'll ask Wanda. I believe they were studying, does this tool, which has been shown to work, I guess, in men, is able to work in either females or is able to work in this disability population.
So this is one of the scientific. This is under the scientific.
Yeah, I believe it's not. I don't believe it's a service project.
Services.
Excuse me, Wanda.
It was a services grant.
It's my bad. Okay, so it's services. But again, I think, to me, people that were in combat and have a emotional difficulty because of blast exposure, et cetera, might be a more important population for what we're looking to study in
Right.
CNI.
I agree.
Or to
I
serve.
agree.
Or to serve.
Yes. Yeah, for service, not for service. Yeah. So, that might be something we could consider coming back to them with, is people that were in combat, had combat exposure, in active duty, Iraq, Afghanistan, Middle East, and came back, maybe didn't have a traumatic brain injury, but had some other sequelae and are seeking that kind of help, because those are the folks that are likely going to need this kind of support. People with stress-related or behavior-related dysfunction have cognitive issues. I think Dave could confirm that, have potential cognitive issues, and they would benefit from this kind of support, and are more in our space of trauma exposure, I think.
Yeah, I wanted to clarify that it wasn't really a study, but even though it's not a study, it does not really follow with our mission. And I think it's going to really muddy waters and open up lots of other perhaps requests for non-traumatic brain injury survivors to be involved in other community supports. So I think we need to really stick to what it is that our mission is.
This is Heather Board. I completely agree with that. I'm concerned about starting to stray from what our primary focus is.
Yeah. The only addendum to that would be, because I would like to see an even mix of individuals with spinal cord dysfunction. I would kind of be okay if they've had one or two spinal cord strokes or infarcts, because to me that population looks somewhat similar. They're not asking for that, but I do want them. I really want to. I don't want to just get brain injuries or concussions or PTSD. I want to get individuals with spinal cord dysfunction or injury. Well, I'm on the board, so I can't really help them do this service project, but I could probably recruit these people for them. And I think they probably need to push a little harder. I mean, I'm happy to give them the name of the guy who runs the student services at VCU that's got hundreds of these individuals.
Can we add a stipulation that they must achieve, hit the 25 person or 20 person group before they get any further, grant or project money or anything like that?
Well, I mean, they're saying they can't this is Kathy. They're saying they can't reach it.
Right. What? And so the choice is they stop this project, and whatever funds they haven't expended go back into the pot, or, which is certainly reasonable and occurs all the time, in the research of service world, or they accept certain, alternatives. They've proposed one. We think perhaps it's not exactly in the lane. So the question is, do we just say, guys, thanks for trying and we appreciate what you've done, let's put the money back in the kitty? Or an easier approach, and probably better for the love of the world and for pushing these things forward, is, hey, let's come up with here are some comparable populations. And I do think those that are trauma exposed, whether it's battle exposed or whether it's, they somehow were psychologically exposed while on active duty, makes sense to me. So if that's, and I'll take other suggestions and we can put it forth to them. I mean, this is a great team who proposed this, but we got to kind of keep the boundaries where they're at. Any other ideas, suggestions, or do we push, and then we'll decide, are we going to say, thank you, but this is what we approved and let's take the money back, or thank you, let's try a little with this space. What are we thinking?
I would be more inclined to, this is Kathy, to say, no, we're not interested in changing the population of the grant, but would like to give you the opportunity to continue to recruit folks from the population originally approved. And if we have other traumatic brain injury populations that they could pull in, or spinal cord injury.
Okay, yeah. So there are folks outside of, you're saying outside of the veteran health world. So if I may say, civilians who have had these traumatic injuries, who are also schooling, And this group actually helps support those people at VCU as well, not just veterans, but other individuals with those related disabilities. So that's a great idea, Kathy. Yeah. Okay. So one, I don't know if you so we're talking about people who have had these traumatic injuries, traumatic brain injury from concussion to severe, traumatic spinal cord injury, and are seeking return to education, whether through VCU or otherwise. I said VCU, but it could be at any university because they do provide that support, and we want to stick with that. And do we want to say we're going to give you a 6-month window? Because this is not a face-to-face recruitment necessarily, nor training. It can be done virtually. And obviously the students have returned in some way to their college education, some in person, some virtual. So their education is continuing. So there's a role for this intervention. And they can deliver it virtually. So I think that's a great suggestion, Kathy.
So not just veterans.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'd say if they can't get the veteran population that they've designated, we're going to say same population in terms of disability grouping or impairment grouping, but
And women.
Yeah, women, of course, yes.
Women,
yeah.
right.
Yeah. Women with traumatic spinal cord injury or TBI who are seeking higher education and would volunteer for this space, but not only veterans. It's a nice.
Okay.
Good. Other discussion, other suggestions? If hearing none, I'll ask for a motion for approval that we just talked about.
I move.
Thank you, Kathy. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, David. Is there any further discussion or comments? Hearing none, I'll be calling the question and going to Scott. Thank you. Gives me a thumbs up. Yes. Kathy?
Yes.
Yes. David?
Yes.
Yes. Heather?
Yes.
And this David? Yes. So we have unanimous approval. Good. Wanda, what else do we have on the slate?
Review of the CNI triennial report.
Okay.
Has everyone?
I actually reviewed it and worked with Wanda and Kathy and others. And I think we wrote a letter or something, or we wrote a comment that was part of that. It looked, I was in full support of it. It was very nicely written, et cetera. I believe all of the members have gotten that. I'm sure Scott could, since he recited from memory right now, it's so vivid there. But Wanda, have we gotten any other feedback from either the board or the public related to it?
No, sir.
Okay. Are there any comments from folks on the call about the report? Any edits, concerns, applause, etc.?
I do. I thought
David Reed speaking. David Reed
yes,
speaking.
thank you. I thought that the chair was a 2-year term now. I thought that shifted when I was the chair years ago, that we made that appointment for 2 years rather than annual. And it's listed in there as annual. I don't believe that's correct.
I was praying it was true. But yeah, no, that may be correct. I don't know if we've got a rules and regs person, or we have had this.
No, that's exactly right. But do you remember where that was?
It does say it in the report that it's an annual.
Okay, we'll make that change. It is every 2 years, yes.
Thank you, David.
Good catch.
Well, welcome, David.
Look at that, dude. Next level. That's why you're a former chair. See? Apparently I'm never going to be one because I can't pick these things up. Okay. Other comments, questions, edits? Wanda, is this something that we're going to approve, or is it for information purposes?
Approve.
Oh, thank goodness. All right. So is there a motion for approval of the triennial report with the edits as noted by Dr. Reed?
I so move. This is Heather Board.
Thank you, Heather. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, David. Are there any further comments, questions, concerns? Hearing none, I'll call the question. We'll go through. Scott, yay or nay? Yay, he says through with his thumb. Kathy,
Yay.
approval. Dr. Reed,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
thank you. And this, David says yes as well. So have a unanimous approval with those edits. Good. Wanda, what's next?
The next thing is you can adjourn.
I'm sure there's unanimous approval for that. No.
Yeah, there'll be approval for that.
Do I need to ask if there's any other business?
Can I just say one quick thing? The next CNI meeting is scheduled for, I hope I'm right about this, December 4th. I'm pretty sure that's the date.
Okay.
I will be sending out
my calendar.
information.
All right, December 4th. All right, well, obviously you'll be sending it out if it isn't.
Yes.
Yeah, let's see. Is it already on my calendar? Probably it is. Let's see.
I hope so.
Blah, blah, blah. Yes, it is.
Oh, great, great.
Something's there anyway, but yeah, I'm assuming that's you. Yes. All right, perfect.
Okay.
All right, well, obviously if there's any changes, we'll let folks know. We'll try to find a day that Dr. Reed can't participate again, so that'll be ideal. All right, anybody else have any other issues to bring up before we see if there's a move for adjournment? Otherwise, I'll ask for a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
A little too fast, Scott. Oh, yes, Scott moves for adjournment. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Are there any further comments, questions, or concerns? Otherwise, I'll run the list again. Scott, thumbs up, yes. Kathy, thumbs up, big smile. David, thumbs up. Heather, yes.
Yes. Yes.
All right, I also vote yes. The motion is passed. Thank you all for your participation and great work, and we'll talk to you December 4th at the latest. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, Wanda, for facilitating.
Oh,
Thank you
have a
all.
great day.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.